All right, we're talking hockey, we're talking daily fantasy, August 5th. We're going to go over some guys on the lower budget end here that have a lot of upside potential to them for today. Starting off with Kirby Dach. Now, the Blackhawks Edmonton series, it's been a goal scoring fest over here. 19 goals in 2 games. Over the course of the season, these two teams have played. They have averaged 7.6 goals per game. It has been high scoring games nonetheless. Rightfully so between two teams with some solid offenses, not so hot defenses. Kirby Dach currently sitting on that first line power play unit of the Chicago Blackhawks, which is very, very appealing. He does play with DeBrincat besides that on even strength, but you have to love playing with a guy that's playing on a hot power play right now against a team like Edmonton. Kirby Dach at a price tag of $3,200. I don't think he can beat here. Over in Arizona, we're taking Phil Kessel, trying to find the best options here in this Arizona and Nashville game because it is the back end of a back-to-back, which, you know, can typically see some sloppier hockey play. And going with Phil Kessel at $3,900, again, I don't think it's a little bit higher, but if you got room for that extra $400 or $500 there, if you can do it, Phil Kessel, you consider him playing with Taylor Hall in that power play again. And again, on the back end of a back-to-back, I think there's a chance here we see Arizona put some goals up. Not to mention, Phil Kessel is typically one of the best players around when it comes to playoff hockey and putting up points. Back to the Edmonton Oilers, we have Alex Chiasson, a guy, again, I like here because he's on Edmonton and he is currently playing a lot of power play time with McDavid, Draisaitl, and Nugent Hopkins. Now, the first game of the series, he played pretty much the entire power play time with him. The last one, he split it a little bit there with James Neal. Regardless, though, you got Connor McDavid right now tearing the Chicago Blackhawks a new one right now. It's like walking in front of a moving train right now trying to stop McDavid. You still got to wait for Draisaitl to heat up a little bit. You have to love the value at $2,700 of Chiasson getting those tap-in goals, those assists on the power play if they do amount here, especially at that price tag. Then there's Ethan Bear. Same story here as Chiasson, really, except on the defense. We've seen these, you know, the big guns play the majority of the power play. But what we have seen Edmonton do as well is swap out the first unit on defense and bring in the second unit on defense, and that being Ethan Bear here, which can, again, be a big addition. But more importantly, what I like about Bear here, he's got the low floor. Sure, he hasn't been lighting it up lately, but he's a 100 for 100 guy. He's going to give you that 4, 5, 6 point floor because of the block shots, because of the shots on goal. Anything more than that is just a bonus for this guy. Gotta like the chance of this guy getting an apple in this game. Then finally moving to goaltender. Now, goaltender, it's a tougher position, and we'll talk more about this Dallas game and these other play-in games that are just round-robin games here in a second. But Ben Bishop is a guy that is just completely dominated the Colorado Avalanche this season. 3-0, 1.61 goals against average, a .959 save percentage. He has feasted playing these Colorado Avalanche. The one thing you have to be concerned about with Dallas is they look like they was just playing a preseason game their last game. They didn't even have their first line power play unit out there in the game, and a lot of guys were splitting in, you know, an equal amount of ice time. So will they treat this game like that one? That is the number one concern, and that is overall the number one concern for selecting any of these games from the play-in rounds here today. That's why we avoid Boston, we avoid Tampa, we avoid Dallas, we avoid Colorado. Again, Colorado would be great. We just seen how, you know, Dallas plays though against Colorado, because you have to be worried Dallas will once again split time, so you want to avoid their players. And you look at Tampa Bay and Boston, Tuukka's gonna play. We've seen Pasternak get 21 minutes, Marchand, they played their big guns last game and they struggled. But now the question is, now that they're not in contention really for that number one seed anymore, do they go out and play their big guns just as much, or do they, you know, temper their time back to, you know, 17, 16, 18 minutes to not worry about getting those injuries? There's too many questions. I do somewhat like Pasternak, but that price tag is really steep when you have questions and concerns about how they're going to play their players in this game.